Okay, so we're going to start looking at the types of reactions that are happening here. So we're going to briefly go over the different types. We're going to look at this unit, and then we'll talk about synthesis, decomposition, and combustion today. Okay, so the types of reactions we're going to look at can be grouped into different categories. So we have synthesis reactions, decomposition reactions, and combustion reactions. So we're going to do these three today in this lesson. Then we have single displacement and double displacement. You may also remember that there is neutralization reactions, which is when you have an acid and a base, but technically it falls under the category of double displacement because it's the same kind of reaction. So what's the purpose of studying reactions? So first of all, it's so that you're able to better understand when you are looking at a chemical change, what is actually going on behind that change. So meaning, you're not just thinking, oh, there's a color change or a precipitate or gas bubbles, like understanding what the things are that are being produced. And then of course, another important factor is when you know what reactants you're working with and the reaction types, we should be able to predict what kind of products will be formed from that reaction. So the first type is a synthesis reaction that we're going to look at. So this is where you have two or more reactants forming one product. Okay, so that's the key there, one product. So synthesis reaction, all of the reactions look the same. You should have only one thing on the product side. You can have two or more reactants, but the key is one product. So I found a bunch of these weird pictures online, so I thought they were kind of funny. So we have a starving bird with like a gigantic earthworm, and then it's going to eat that bird. The bird is going to eat the worm, and then we have one big happy bird who is nice and full at the end here, okay? Or you can think of this as like a couple, and then like two people, and then when they come together to make a couple, they have one thing on the product side, or they're dancing, whatever you want to think of. To think of this, so you have, here are some real examples with some compounds. So hydrogen and oxygen making water, carbon and oxygen making carbon dioxide, hydrochloric acid and ammonia to make ammonium chloride. So usually when we're talking about synthesis reactions, the ones that you should be able to predict are ones that are formed from elements. So for example, here we have potassium and chlorine coming together and they make potassium chloride. Okay, that's pretty straightforward before we get into the next thing. So if I were to say we are going to make, we're going to produce aluminum sulfide from its elements. Okay, so what that means is we're going to make aluminum sulfide from its elements. So the elements are aluminum and sulfur. So we have aluminum and sulfur. So at this point, you should know aluminum is a solid. Sulfur is also a solid. Okay, and then aluminum sulfide. So the 3 crisscrosses down and then the 2 crisscrosses down. Now I wouldn't expect you to know this, but aluminum sulfide is aqueous. And actually sometimes sulfur is also found in the aqueous form. So you haven't learned how to do this part yet, so don't worry about that right now. Okay, so then we would go about balancing it. So we have 2 aluminum, so we need a 2 here, and 3 sulfur. So when it says from its elements, what that means is the elements that make up that compound are going to be used as reactants. So same thing with, let's say, give this one a try. We're going to make, let's say, copper 2 fluoride from its elements. Okay, so give this a try. Okay, so copper and fluorine. So remember that the Hofbrinkel elements always come in 2. So in its elemental form, fluorine is with a 2. So copper is a metal, fluorine is a gas, making copper 2 fluoride. So at this point, this is what I expect you. I expect you to know this is a solid and that this is a gas. Right now, I don't expect you to know what this compound is. By the end of the unit, yes, but right now, no. So at this point, right, we can now, it's actually already balanced. So when you're doing this, remember if it says from its elements, if it's a Hofbrinkel, it comes with 2. Okay, so those are synthesis reactions. Decomposition reactions is essentially the opposite of synthesis. So this is now where you have one reactant that is breaking down into 2 or more products. So think of this as this was the couple that was dancing and then they are going to separate. In that weird cartoony example, there is an egg here that is hatching, and then there's a ginormous turtle that was inside of that egg with an empty shell. So it was one thing before, and now it's 2 separate items. Okay, so a couple of real examples. So we have calcium hydroxide making calcium oxide and water, potassium chlorate making potassium chloride and oxygen, and we have carbonic acid making carbon dioxide and water. So all of them have in common there is only one reactant breaking down into more than one thing. So here's another example where it's breaking down into its elements. So here we have mercury 2 oxide breaking down into mercury and oxygen. Now this little triangle that's on top of the arrow, this just means that it had to be heated. So the triangle means that basically you had to add heat for this reaction to happen. I don't expect you to know to draw that, obviously. I'm just explaining it to you so that if you see the reaction and you're looking at the arrow, you're like, oh, that looks like a weird arrow with the triangle. It just means that the substance is being heated up. Sometimes you'll also see another weird arrow that looks like this. It's squiggly. So the squiggly arrow basically means that UV light had to be added. Okay, so I don't expect you to know to write any of that, but I just want to explain it so in case you come across it, you know why it's there. Okay, so before we get into this, let's do another one. So sometimes decomposition, we will say breaking down into its elements. So essentially what that means is if something is breaking down into its elements, it's decomposing into its elements, kind of what it sounds like. So let's say we had, let's do calcium chloride, okay? So let's say we had calcium chloride and this was breaking down. Actually, I'm going to do something different. So it's not balanced already. Let's do sodium chloride. So sodium chloride breaking down into its elements. So what that comes down to is going to be sodium, which is a metal, which is solid, plus chlorine, which is a gas. Right? So remember Hofbrinkels, chlorine is one of them. So that means it comes with a 2. So right now, I expect you to know sodium is a solid and chlorine is a gas, right? So NaCl, you may not know this. Obviously, we haven't learned about the AQ part yet. So to balance this, you would need a 2 in front of NaCl because of the 2 chlorine. And then because now we have 2 Na, we would have to put a 2 for the Na here. So anytime you see breaking down into its elements, it just essentially means you're decomposing that compound into the different elements that make up that compound. All right. So the last type of reaction that we're going to go through right now is called a combustion reaction. So combustion reactions is actually any time you have something reacting with oxygen. Okay, so anything plus O2 is considered to be a combustion reaction. Normally in combustion reactions, there are large amounts of energy that are produced, usually in the form of light and heat. Okay, so normally there are two ways of doing combustion. You can have an element that is reacting with oxygen or a hydrocarbon. So a hydrocarbon is basically any compound that has a certain number of carbons and hydrogens. So it could be CH4, it can be C2H6. Any carbon hydrogen molecule is able to do combustion. Okay. And another thing that you'll notice is anytime you see the word burning, burning automatically means combusting. Okay. Now be careful. Sometimes you'll see the word, something saying that it is being heated or warmed. Okay. That is not the same thing as being burned. Heated or warmed essentially just means you're increasing the temperature. The term burned or burning means you are doing combustion. Okay, so this is like a gentle warming or maybe a small amount of heat. This is where you are literally, you're incinerating it. You are burning it to the point where you're doing a chemical reaction. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about combustion reactions. So really there's three things that are needed. So if you mention, take a look here. So this is also called burning. So there's three things that are needed to burn something. So you need something to burn. You need a fuel. Okay. So typically that is a hydrocarbon, but it could be other things. It doesn't have to be a hydrocarbon. So remember, hydrocarbon is a term for anything that has carbon and hydrogens in it, right? You need oxygen, of course. That's our other reactant. And you need something to spark or start the reaction. So for example, in a Bunsen burner, the fuel source is methane gas, which is CH4, a hydrocarbon. Oxygen is, of course, in the air. But a Bunsen burner doesn't turn on until you essentially add a spark. And the reason why what this spark does is it essentially gives energy to begin the reaction. Because what will happen is if you have a Bunsen burner that's on but there's no flame, the gas is basically just mixing with oxygen. It doesn't actually catch fire until there is something to ignite it. Okay, so same thing with, let's say you have a match and you want to light the match. Normally you need to scrape it against flint. So what you're doing is you're creating a spark using friction. So the friction of the match against the matchbook has enough friction so that the flame can actually begin. So here are some examples of combustion reactions. So here we have, right, phosphorus plus oxygen making tetraphosphorus decoxide. But the key is, how are you going to know something is a combustion reaction? You're going to see oxygen as a reactant. Okay, this reaction in particular can also be called synthesis. If you remember, synthesis means that there's only one product that's made on the right side of the arrow. So if I gave you this reaction, I said, tell me what type of reaction this is, both would be correct. You can tell me synthesis or you can tell me combustion. Both of them are, it falls under both categories. Okay, so hydrocarbon reactions. Here's an example of a hydrocarbon. We know it's a hydrocarbon because it's just carbons and hydrogens. And of course, we know it's combustion because it has oxygen there. So whenever you are doing combustion with a hydrocarbon, this will do what is called complete combustion. Okay, so we'll go to the next part where we'll talk more about complete combustion.